Swinging a drive. Right field and deep. Back goes Aquino. It's got a chance. Gone. Get out the tape measure. Long gone.
Fly the W!
Cubs fans, it's time to fly the W with Dustin Rhodes and Paul Crawley-Jean.
All right, Crawley, for the first time since 2020, the Cubs are back in the postseason. You're listening to the Fly the W podcast, part of the Blue Wire Network. Don't forget to listen, download, subscribe. Most importantly, review the podcast. Follow on all the socials. I'm at Mullion on X.
And you can follow me at Crawley's Cubs on X, Blue Sky, and TikTok, and Crawley's Clubhouse on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Threads. You can email us at crawleysclubhouse@gmail.com.
All right, Crawley. So about, 45 minutes ago or so, the Cubs ended up completing the sweep of the Pirates out in Pittsburgh, and they are back, Crawley. Postseason baseball here in town for our Northside baseball team for the first time since 2020. The champagne was going. The Bud Heavies were getting poured over the players' heads. So a good time is had by all, and it really means a lot. You shouldn't take it for granted. This team was expected to get here. They got off to a great start. They've hung on, and now they've made it to the postseason. Now it's just a matter of if they'll be on the road or if those first three games beginning September the 30th will be at the friendly confines.
Yeah, it'll be fun to find out, and I'm crossing my fingers it's at the friendly confines because then that means I get to go to the games. And the wild card, all the games are played at one stadium, right? So there's no travel. So the hope is that
they'll play what? They'll play Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right?
I think it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, but I'll double check.
Oh, is there a day off? I thought it was 3 straight. Okay.
Maybe I'll take a look. I'll double check, but I was pretty sure it was Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. But either way,
it's
exciting. And I want to, it's the last time I was at Wrigley for playoff baseball. We were actually on a rooftop at 2020 against the Marlins because that was, there was no people in the stadiums.
Yeah. Miserable. And that was a miserable performance against those Marlins the last time they were in. I remember it vividly. I don't know how, but I do remember it vividly. That was just awful. That was awful.
What was also awful was 2018 when they last made it. They backed in game 163. They lost, came as in a wild card team, and then lost to the Rockies. So for me, that was brutal because I saw them lose 163 to Milwaukee, 1-0, and then I saw them lose to the Rockies 1-0. So I got to see two teams celebrate on Wrigley Field, not the Cubs, in like 48 hours. So it was kind of wild.
Yeah, that doesn't sound a whole lot of fun. All right, let's recap it, shall we? Let's walk through quickly because this is more now about celebrating the postseason. So Jameson Taillon, he started things off beginning of the week, Monday night, and he put in a really, really good performance, Crawley.
Yeah, he really did. And Dustin, this is generally continuing on with the theme we talked about that started in Atlanta, right? And then went into the last weekend series and now against the Pirates as well. It's just team baseball. It's everything's kind of clicking right now all of a sudden. Taillon versus Braxton Ashcraft, top of the third. Michael Busch homers to center field. Cubs are up 1-0. For Busch, Dustin, that's home run number 28. 28. And so, Nico and Happ hit back-to-back singles to put runners at the corner. Ashcraft would throw a wild pitch. Cubs up 2-0. Thank you very much. Cubs not done. Top of the third, PCA doubles to center, steals third, and scores on a Dansby Swanson double to make it 3-0. Or steals third and score. Yeah, and so Dansby doubles to make it 3-0. PCA is not done. Top of the sixth, he hits one 414 feet, 108 miles per hour off the bat for PCA. That's going to be home run number 29. His first home run since August 22nd, his fourth since the All-Star break. Cubs have a 4-0 lead. PCA talked a little bit after the game about what he felt was kind of clicking for him.
Yeah, it's great. That's what I'm working to do every day. It's just nice to find the barrel a couple times and, walk away feeling like my at-bats were somewhat productive. Today was just a big focus on putting the ball in the air, I think usually that achieves more time in the zone for me, from what we've seen. So really just working on, making the right move to be able to put the ball in the air, because my swings naturally got lift, and as is anybody's when they catch the ball out front and play the game out front. So I've been trying to do that, and the moves haven't been where they needed to be to do that successfully. So we went at it again today, and I guess just had maybe a little different approach, but ended up taking a good feel into the game. I mean, yeah, one swing can always change it. I'm just not really good at applying that yet, I don't think. I think I still carry a lot of impatience in terms of wanting to produce, be a part of what's really good about our offense, what's been really good about our offense all year. When you're killing rallies and when you feel like you're not driving in runs that should be driven in, I think then the impatience becomes a little more heightened, and I just need to do a better job of kind of really buying into one swing can change it, one feel, jam shot, bunt, playing the game, not just trying to hit a freaking homer to get out of something, so.
I thought it was really self-reflective there, Dustin. I think it's something that we've seen watching all these games. PCA is a guy who wears his heart on his sleeve, and I know some people don't like it.
Yeah, some people don't like it. And listen, this couldn't have come at a better time, right? This is exactly the time when he needed to get out of that funk. Also credited Justin Tucker, right? With Justin Turner, rather.
Justin
with
Tucker
a lot,
Justin Turner,
and with a lot of helping him out in the cage and all that kind of thing. So
Justin Kelly and John Maley, he works harder than anybody. This kid wants to do well.
He really does. He really wants to do well.
And he talked about the frustration about killing rallies. You see it in his face. Mm-hmm. I mean, and the trouble is the first half, we were literally talking about an MVP candidate. And then all of a sudden to go down, you got to kind of let it go. And he seems to, it's frustrating for him when he feels like he's not helping the team. But if you look at his season, how about this list? 65 extra base hits and 30 stolen bases. Single season in Cubs history, 3 players. Kai Kyler in 1930, Ryan Sandberg in 1984, and PCA in 2025. 2 of those guys, Dustin, Hall of Famers.
Yep, 2 of those guys, Hall of Famers, has not been done for quite some time. And there's a lot of guys who are getting into that high 20s area that we're going to talk about. And it'll be interesting to see how many guys can finish with 30 before all is said and done. But again, Jameson Taillon making that second start since coming off the IL really had a nice outing.
Yeah, I thought he was a whole lot sharper than his last time out. And maybe it's because he was sharper. Maybe the Pittsburgh offense is that bad, but a little both, whatever. Nice quality start for J-Mo. 6 innings, gave up 2 hits, 2 walks, 3 Ks. Taillon gave up a single in the first, walk a batter in the third. The biggest trouble he encountered was in the 6th with 2 outs. Spencer Horwitz doubled and Brian Reynolds walked, but J-Mo got Tommy Pham to ground out to end the threat. That's what you like to see from J-Mo every time out. And I think that, it was just a great outing. And here's what J-Mo had to say after the game.
I always take pride in trying to throw strike one and being aggressive in the zone, and not just strike one, but 2 of the first 3, trying to get ahead in counts. So yeah, just had a good pitch mix going tonight. Carson was awesome. The defense was awesome. I made a few mistakes when I was ahead in the count. And I got bailed out by the defense too. So just all in all, a good night. It's interesting. Unfortunately, I've been hurt in my career some, and I feel like I've kind of found a way, whether it's a short-term thing or a long-term thing. I feel like I've always challenged myself to find a way to come back sharp and come back ready, whether it's doing mental training and visualization and watching videos, or the physical stuff with the trainers and strength coaches. So it's a team effort to do that and accomplish that. So yeah, it's good to be able to come back and contribute and be sharp. And yeah, I mean, I'm just here to help any way I can. I don't care what it looks like. I'm just here to win games and be a part of something special.
Yeah, he said so much there, Crawley, what he said after the game. He told us that today on Mully and Haw, talking about doesn't care when he gets the ball in the postseason, just as long as he's part of it. He's, jacked to do that. So he doesn't care if he's starting, bullpen, when, where, on the road, at home, just happy to be part of it.
And you can catch that interview on the Odyssey app if you want to go back and listen to it.
Really
but,
stuff, yep.
I think that, I thought it was interesting how he talked about how he's learned to get back from injury quicker, right? like how he can just sit there and he does a lot of things, even when he's not, when he's on the IL, to keep himself ready for that moment that he comes back in the game. Speaking of coming off the IL and into the game, Michael Soroka activated off the IL. We talked about that last time.
Yes, we did.
Got a couple of innings work. 7th inning, he walked 2, struck out 1. Got out of the inning without giving up any damage. Bottom of the 8th, he got 2 ground outs. He hit Brian Reynolds and struck out Tommy Pham. I wish he would have. Well, we don't want to hit Tommy Pham, but either way, I thought it was interesting, Dustin. I thought it was interesting that fastball was touching mid-90s, and he has this curve. It's like a weird. The PitchCom recognizes it as a slurve and a sinker. It's interesting. I thought it was an interesting outing. I didn't know what to expect. That was number one. He let a couple guys on base, but again, not 100% polished just yet. Want to see how it looks like. Like I said, these last couple weeks.
Good inning eater for the last 2 weeks. That's what Michael Soroka is, in my opinion. Good inning eater for the next. Maybe even gets a start in one of those last 3 games when the Cubs are really trying to line things up. Crowley.
I will hold judgment to see what happens next time out. Unfortunately, Craig's experiment with Porter Hodge didn't go as well. Hodge came into the game in the 9th with a 4-0 lead. He got Andrew McCutchen to line out for the first out, gave up a single to Nick Gonzalez, walked Jack Sawinski, got O'Neill Cruz to ground out for the second out, but he walked Nick York to load the bases. Dustin, you can't issue 2 walks with a 4-0 lead in the bottom of the 9th. Cannot.
No, you
happen.
cannot. No.
Council would call on Brad Keller to get the final out, but that was frustrating because you got a 4-0 lead, right? You want to rest your A team guys, the guys in the circle of trust, right? The trust tree. Thielbar, Pomerantz, Kidridge, Keller. You wanted to rest those guys, and if Porter would have been better there, you could have done that. Instead, you had to go to him, and that kind of sucked.
Yeah, it was that's definitely was not the plan, Crowley. That was not the plan. But the plan for Tuesday night, Crowley, was a great pitching matchup. I'm still trying to figure out why Cade Horton and Paul Skeens got moved from Monday to Tuesday. I'm not super clear on that, but at this point, I guess it really doesn't matter. The Cubs have faced Paul Skeens before. Pirates have faced Cade Horton before. I was at the game at Wrigley that went extra innings that saw the Pirates win, I think 2-1 in 10, but this was a really game to get pumped up about. And I think the Cubs were pumped up, and wow, Cubs got 2 Paul Skeens right off the bat.
Yeah. But, that was fun because you got the battling of the reigning rookie of the year in Paul Skeens and Cade Horton, who's looking to take the title this year. And like you said, Michael Busch he hits a leadoff homer to put the Cubs up 1-0. Nico would ground out. Ian Happ walked. Moises Ballesteros singled. Mo Baller. Carson Kelly would line out for the second out, but PCA with a clutch 2-out single. Cap scores. Cubs up 2-0. Dansby would walk to load the bases before Willie Castro struck out to end the inning, but the Cubs scored 2 runs. But more importantly, Dustin, you got 8 men that come to the plate, and they made Skeens throw 33 pitches in that inning. They had someone up in the bullpen.
They made him labor, right? They made him labor, no doubt.
If Castro would have got on there, he might have been out of the game.
Yep, right then and there, right? Mm-hmm.
Right, so, what about Michael Busch this season? And I thought that they did a great job after the game, Cliff Floyd and our guy Cole Wright. But look at this. Look at this in the NL, Dustin. Most home runs. Pete Alonso, 34. Michael Busch is right there at 29. Nick Kurtz, 27. Matt Olson, the all-star, 27.
These are specifically first baseman, in case you can't see us. Yep. First baseman specifically. Yeah, I mean, listen, he's played a hell of he plays a good defensive first base. Here's the thing. I believe Michael Busch probably could use a little bit of rest down the stretch. But when I want to see him play? Against some lefties, Crowley. I want to see him hit because I'm still wondering if the Cubs are going to bench him against a lefty starter in the postseason.
That's a good question, and that's what Cliff Floyd said. He doesn't get as much love as the other first baseman on that list because he's almost like a platoon player, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, bottom of the first, Cade Horton's on the mound. Spencer Horowitz singles. Brian Reynolds lines out for the second out, but O'Neill Cruz hits one off the right field wall. It took a bad bounce on Willie Castro. Triple for Cruz. A run scores. Cubs lead cut 2-1, but Horton is able to get Nick Gonzalez to fly out to left to hold the lead. Cubs are going to add one on the second, 1 out. Michael Busch hit a double against the wall. Just missed going out. Nico would put single to put runners at the corners, and Ian Happ sack fly. Cubs are back up 3-1. Next time Skeens faced Michael Busch in the 4th with 2 outs, he wisely decided to walk him. How about that, Dustin? Just pitched around him.
Interesting, right? Yeah.
Yep. And I laughed because
Sign of respect.
They asked Craig Counsell what he thought about Michael Busch heating up and what happens when Michael Busch gets locked in. And here's what Craig had to say.
Ball's going far.
Ball goes far.
Ball's going far.
Yeah. That was un-Craig Counsell like, right? I mean,
yeah, there was no even like a right before, like a heavy breathing or anything.
Yeah.
You know,
that's baseball.
Finally, after 3.5 innings, Skeen's day is done. 3 runs, 7 hits, 3 walks, 6 Ks, 92 pitches.
Awfully good.
Dustin, other than the last game of the season in 2024, the last game of the season last year, it was pre-planned that he would throw 2 innings and be done. Okay. That was the shortest outing of his young career, but this game was the shortest unplanned, right? That was not expected that he'd be coming out that early. And when you take a look here at Skeens this season versus the Cubs, 2 starts, 623, 219 whip, 4 home runs allowed, 8.2 innings. In all his other starts, 13 starts, a 131 ERA, a 76 whip, 2 home runs allowed, 82.2 in a third innings. I mean, sometimes you just have a guy's number, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's unexplainable. That is baseball, as Craig Counsell would say. The Cubs missed a golden opportunity to blow this one open in the 6th. Matt Shaw led off with a single. Michael Busch doubled second of the game to put runners at second and third, no outs. And these were all doubles that hit against the wall in Pittsburgh. Not like, finding a gap or something. This is off the wall. Michael Busch doubled to put runners at second and third, no outs. Nico grounded to first for the first out, and Ian Happ was intentionally loaded to walk to load the bases, but Moises struck out and Carson Kelly popped to end the threat. Cubs offense scored 4 runs on 15 hits, 5 walks, ton of traffic. They were 2-10 with runners in scoring position, left 3rd men on base, but a lot of that was because Skeens was able to strike his way out of a couple jams.
Yes,
but all those strikeouts, all that stuff caused the pitch count to be elevated. But Cade Horton, for him, after the first inning, he seemed to settle down. Pitched 5 innings, gave up 1 run on 3 hits with 1 walk and 6 Ks. In the 2nd, 4th, and 5th innings, he sat the Pirates down in order. Big moment in the 3rd inning, 2 on, 1 out. He strikes out Brian Reynolds and O'Neill Cruz to end the threat. Dustin, this kid has no fear on the mound. And when we talk about Horton's second half, I mean, it's the numbers, 11 starts since the All-Star break, 0.93, 0.79 whip, 6 starts with 0 runs, 10 starts with 0 or 1 runs, 58 and a third innings allowed. The most run he's gave was in Colorado on August 29th when he gave up 2 runs.
Right. So I mean, an under 1 is it's absolutely amazing. It's special. It's special.
He's doing the same kind of numbers that Jake Arrieta did in the second half, almost identical.
Yeah. And then the bullpen followed up with just another great performance as well.
Right. The bullpen was unbelievable. Drew Pomerantz, Andrew Kittredge, Caleb Thielbar, Brad Keller, 4 scoreless innings, gave up 1 hit, 0 walks, struck out 6. Cubs win 4-1. You like to see the offense score and a couple more of those chances, but all in all, another team win, and that, Dustin, moved the team to 23 games over 500.
That's a high watermark too at that point, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
All right. Then we had game number 3. This happened this afternoon. Matthew Boyd, the All-Star, the lefty All-Star. And this one was an absolute wild affair, Crowley. The Cubs jumping on now Oviedo making his debut, right? His big league debut.
Johan Oviedo, no, he's pitched before.
Oh, he has pitched before. Okay. I thought that was his first time out there. Anyway, the Cubs jumped on him, right? They get out to a quick 4-0 lead.
Yeah, you end up, it was a bizarre one because you had Busch walk in and then a wild pitch moves him to second. Nico singles, put him at the corners, and we get a balk. And so it's just a free run. Ian Happ, I mean, is there just a guy that owns any team as bad as Ian owns the Pirates?
Well, does he own the Pirates more? Or does he own the Reds more?
Both. I think both teams, to be honest. 23rd homer on that one to right field. Nico's
especially on the road, it seems like, against them, right?
Yes.
Especially on the road. Yep.
3-0. And then back-to-back, Mo Baller, home run number 2 to right field.
Yep.
4-0. And again, Suzuki hit by pitch. Dansby singles.
Well, there's other news, right? Suzuki back.
Suzuki is back in the lineup.
Batting 5th now. All of a sudden, they don't have to bat him 3rd. They actually batted him 5th. He was playing right field and batted 5th.
But after they get Dustin Oviedo's pitch count up and they score 4 runs, you're thinking they're walking away with this. But we've talked about our concern about Matthew Boyd. And he gets the first 2 outs in the first inning, and then he walks Tommy Pham, gives up a single to Andrew McCutchen, and then he gives up a home run to Joey Bart. That was only his 3rd home run of the season, Dustin. It's not like you gave it up to Junior Caminero or Cal Raleigh or something. It's Joey Bart.
Yep.
And that moves the game.
That was frustrating.
And then you get into the second. Oviedo walks Sean Bush to start it out. And then he kind of starts to settle down, and I'm getting worried. I'm like, oh, boys, this could be one of those games where they don't add runs. That comes worse in the second when Cam Devaney singles, Triolo singles, and then Nick Gonzalez is hit by a pitch. So now you got the bases loaded, no out in the second. Luckily, he gets Tommy Pham to pop out in the infield. Andrew McCutchen, he walks in the run. The game's now tied, but he gets Joey Bart to strike out and former Cub Alexander Canario to strike out. But now it's a tie ball game, Dustin, and it would stay that way for a while. But when you take a look at Matthew Boyd, 3 innings pitched, gave up 7 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, 5 Ks, 1 home run, the 3-run homer. It just did not look like he had any control at all.
No. And I think that's what they went out there and told him. They said, listen, these guys are not, this is not Murderers Row. These aren't the 1920, whatever Yankees, right? They go out there, get a little bit more of the white. Okay. Don't dance around. I was listening to Pat and Ron and Zach in my pocket. Coombe was critical of the behind the plate umpire, said he missed a couple of strikes. And the way he saw it on the monitor said he wasn't exactly having the greatest afternoon either.
Maybe not, but again, that's why you attack this team, right? You have to see what the umpire zone is doing, and there's no reason to fear these guys.
And then you got to work around it. Correct. Absolutely right.
And so when you take a look at, we talked about this last episode, 185 and a third innings in 2019, 60 in 2020, 78 in 2021, 13 in 2022, 71 in 2023, 39 in 24. Now he's back up to 171. And I'm just wondering, Dustin, if it may be time to skip a start.
Sure. At this point, listen, he kept them in the game, right? He kept them in the game today. They're in the postseason. But again, is he getting a start, right? Is he a guy that's going to come out of the bullpen? I don't know if you got to hear our show this morning or how much you heard of JD, but did you hear what JD suggested yesterday on the broadcast?
No, tell me.
Okay. He suggested, and again, he was just spitballing, right? He's not saying he heard this or anything. He suggested that Matthew Boyd start game number 1, assuming it's against the Padres. Okay. Padres are going to come out there with a right-handed heavy lineup facing the lefty. And maybe even as soon as the second time through the order, you counter with Cade Horton coming in relief. Okay. Just to mess them up. And then is that the same idea then for game? Let's say the Cubs, whatever, win or lose game number 1. Now in game number 2, are you going Shota Imanaga, okay, to start? And then are you piggybacking Jamison Tyone at that point? Just something very interesting, something to consider. Seems a little bit off the wall, but I mean, him and Boog were really into it. And I don't think they just made that stuff up. I wonder if that's something that's actually being talked about over there, but it seems right now so obvious to go with the hot hand, and the hottest hand you got is Cade Horton without a shadow.
I'm not playing with that, but Dustin, luckily the bullpen was able to come through again. Hodge,
yes, they were.
Savali, Pomerantz, even Taylor Rogers came in the action. And once again, the bullpen covers 6 innings, gives up 1, 2, 3 hits and 1 walk with 5, 6 strikeouts. I mean, just
Aaron Savale, 3 innings. Okay. And he might be another guy that you might see a little bit more often down the stretch here, eating up innings. Cause I don't see a guy like him making the playoff roster. So Crowley, it's fantastic, right? The Cubs are back in the postseason for the first time since 2020. And it's just really fun to have playoffs in any sports in Chicago, especially our favorite team, the Cubs. You're listening to the Fly the W podcast. We are part of the Blue Wire Network. Don't forget to listen, download, review, subscribe to the Fly the W podcast. 5-star review. We'll take it. Email us, Crawley's Clubhouse @gmail.com. Don't forget you can watch us, as some of you may be right now, Crawley's Clubhouse YouTube page. All right, Crawley. So 4.5 away from the Brewers right now at the moment, with the Brewers playing later tonight.
Yep. And I'm going to be watching that. I mean, you're talking they're now 4 games back. This is not 100% updated because we did it right before the game ended.
Mhm.
But they're right there with the Brewers, and this wild card they're starting to get a little bit of breathing room, which is nice to
Right.
have as
They're
well.
gaining ground. I think they can probably put the Reds in the absolute rearview mirror with any luck over the weekend, right?
That would be huge. You got the Diamondbacks a game and a half, the Reds
Yeah,
2
they're
and a half.
sneaking around. Yeah. Mhm.
Yep. San Francisco's starting to fall down. They've lost 4 in a row and they're 3-7 in their last 10, and the Cardinals as well. This is a chance, even if you split this 4-game series, which I love so much. If they split this 4-game series, that ends the Red season pretty much. I mean, it's you're running out of time. Now you're starting to take a look at calendar days, and it is getting wild. But Dustin, you take a look here. The Cubs still have a 2.3% chance of winning the division. I know it's not great. I know it's not great. And so as you take a look at it, 100% chance to make the playoffs.
Well, they're in, right? They're in.
3.2.
They 100% they clinched the wild card. Well, what are the chances? Carly, can you go back to that by chance?
Yeah.
Did they put a percentage on being the top spot in the wild card? They did not.
They did not know.
Okay.
And so that
Just
is
curious
kind of
about
where
that.
we are right now.
That's the next thing, right? I think it's huge if they get to play those games, not only obviously for the fans, but even for the team and the city and everybody around there. If they can get those, 2 or 3 games over at Wrigley Field. So that's really cool. All right. This story that we're going to get into next, Crowley, Kyle Tucker. So I thought yesterday, not today, yesterday on Tuesday before the game, got to hear Craig Counsell on the pregame show with Zach from Pittsburgh talking about he's getting concerned. We're running out of days, yada, yada, yada. Then this morning before the game, we find out that Kyle Tucker has jumped on a plane with a trainer of the Cubs to hang out with his training people because the calf is not responding. He can hit, but he can't run.
Yeah. And so he's seeing the same physical therapy group he worked with in 2024 when he was with Houston. And so the goal is to get him ready for the final homestand, which is coming up on Tuesday. It starts, a homestand with the Mets, which is going to be another big one. And then finishing up with they're all big at this point, the Cardinals, right? So, you're talking about 11 games left, Dustin, that he has to get ready. And so obviously Kyle Tucker's the biggest name. You got to get him ready. The other thing, Daniel Palencia, he's going to travel to AAA following the series finale with, today.
All right. So, because he was there, I saw him celebrating with his
partying,
teammates. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he's expected to make his first rehab appearance on September 20th. Miguel Amaya made his debut as the DH in Iowa, and he got an RBI, but he
1 for 5. Yeah, 1 for 5. I don't think you should mess with that. I don't think Miguel Amaya. I don't think you should sit. You obviously would not. You wouldn't sit Kelly, but I don't think you should mess with Reese McGuire either right now. I think Miguel should just focus on the 2026 season at this point.
I think he ran out of time is basically what we're saying.
Yeah.
Speaking of running out of time, sorry, Carter Hawkins, no longer in consideration for the National Offense job. We thought he was going to be a finalist, and maybe that can throw him away. But those dreams have died, Dustin. So Carter Hawkins will, as of right now, things can pop up. He will be with the Chicago Cubs in 2026. So sorry, Carter. Maybe next time. But Dustin, I do have a question for you. I am getting crucified right now in social media,
Uh-huh.
and I don't know if you saw this.
What'd you do, Crowley?
I don't know what I did. So this is the first time, Dustin, that the Cubs have made the postseason, like we talked about, since they've expanded the postseason to 2022. And anybody knows me knows that I live and die with this Cubs team. I watch every damn game. I haven't even seen 1 minute of a Bears game because I've been watching Cubs regular season baseball, right? But my question was when I saw the 8th and 9th inning, and I'm watching on marquee, and they're getting the ice and they're putting the plastic tarp over everything. I haven't paid attention enough to what other teams do. I know the Brewers did it the other day, but is this the new normal that if you make the postseason, that's kind of the new celebration, not winning the division, not home field advantage for the wild card round.
The Phillies, here is an example though. The Phillies on Monday night. Yes.
Right.
Monday night, the Phillies won the division and they party. They party hard. Right. So, yeah, I mean, I listen. So people don't think you should party for getting into the wild card. Is that what you're getting beat up about?
What I'm saying is that I have no problem with partying, right? But again, like for me, I wish everyone would have grabbed a beer and chugged a beer together and then got on the bus and got to Cincy. I still feel like there's a chance that if things
So
go
maybe a little. So you think they maybe over celebrated this?
correct. Imagine if the Brewers already celebrated too. I don't know if you heard that weird story about Bob Uecker's fake letter from the dead.
Yeah,
And all that stuff, that weirdness. But imagine if all of a sudden, after the Brewers celebrated like they did, imagine if the Cubs eclipse them and they win the division. Does that look different to you? Would you feel different about it?
Well, I think they'll have another celebration, or at least I would hope they would have another celebration.
No, I'm talking about if the Brewers ended up blowing it, choking it away, the division.
Oh, well, but I still think you want that moment, right? I think,
Okay.
I guess I'm not understanding what you're saying. You're saying that
I'm saying that
the Brewers should not have celebrated when they did because they haven't won the division yet. I mean, that's what I don't get.
What I'm saying is you have a game tomorrow, right?
Cubs
you have a game against
tomorrow.
Cincinnati.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You want to be 100%. I'm still saying don't concede anything. Don't concede the division. You're pushing. To me, the big net magic number is, I think it's 5 or 6 right now to get that home field for the playoffs.
Right. Well, I'm sure we've got some probables, right? We've got some probables for this Red Series, right?
Right.
I think it could change, right? I don't. Or you could see a lot of guys like doing basically what they would do on the side, like a 3-inning stim game. Not that they're going to just throw a bunch of crap out there, but my point is, I see what you're saying, but I don't have a problem. I want the Cubs to continue to go for it, right? Until it doesn't make any sense to go for it. But at the same time, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with them partying today. Like, I don't have a problem with that because it's rare. Obviously, it's been a while for the Cubs. It's been a while for a Chicago team to do this. I know we focus on the Cubs, but we still are Chicago based. So I have no problem. I have no problem with them partying because I think the partying also can be motivating, if you will, right? You could be motivated, like, hey, we had this party. Let's have this party again, guys. Let's do it again.
Now, and you got Craig Counsell there for the first time as a Cub manager. You have a lot of cool rookies that are getting to experience this, or young players. I have no problem with it. To me, though, I'm just kind of I just don't know. Is this every team now? All it is make the playoffs, and then you get. I guess I'm from a generation like you are, Dustin, where basically when you won the division, that's when you got the party, and then later on they added the wild card. And then if you made the wild card, then you partied. And at that point in time, whether you clinched the division or you clinched the wild card, you that's it. You were going to go, you were in, right? Yeah. You were in. And now it's a little bit different, I guess, when I think about it. It's just, there's still an opportunity that if all of a sudden things, I don't even want to say it, like that's how superstitious I am, but things could either go very positive or very negative and can turn. That's just, to me, I'm just hoping, like I was happy. I had a tear in my eye watching them celebrate. I just hope they're ready to go tomorrow. Like if you're telling me that Carlos Santana and Justin Turner, I just think about in 2016, we just came up on the anniversary when the Cubs clinched 2016. If you would have seen that lineup, like Murio, Kawasaki, and some of the guys that they had in the lineup, there was
Crowley, I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example. I bet a little bit of NFL football on Sunday, and I had some success. So I had a little money in my account. And based on what you just said, I didn't look at the lineup, but I didn't think the Phillies would have a prayer against Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers, who need to win. Like, the Padres are also creeping up on the Dodgers. The Dodgers have not won their division either. And I bet on Shohei Ohtani. I bet against the Phillies. Shohei Ohtani hit his 50th home run and had a no-hitter through 5 innings. They took him out and the bullpen blew it, right? It's like I used that betting strategy and I got bit in the tuchus. So, I mean, yeah, there's a lot to be said. But hey, again, they said it nonstop on the broadcast. Crawley, did you say this or did somebody else? Or I'm not calling you out because we talk, we say a lot of things. Didn't you or somebody else say, what's the big deal about winning the division anymore? What do you get? A different hat?
Right? I think I did say that. I guess, and to me, it's not just the division. You want to get the home field for the wild card.
Okay. Well, right. I think that's the key because I think it was in last year's playoffs. the teams that got the bye that didn't play in the wild card round had that rust factor.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know that there's a huge advantage of even being the number 1 seed and not playing in the
Right.
opening weekend.
Yeah, that's what I said, is it's just a different hat, and it does mean something to be the division champs or nothing. But to me, just right now, I am so laser focused on locking down home field advantage for the Wild.
But I think they are too. I just don't know if like tomorrow's going to be the day. But as an example, we had Jamison Tyone with Mully and Haw today. Usually this is our week to have Tommy Hotovy on. We didn't have Tommy today. I texted Tommy and said, "Hey, Tommy, is Thursday at 9 better or is Friday better for you?" I mean, he responded within 4 minutes. Thursday's great. Thanks. Talk to you then. So,
are you going to ask him about the 6-man rotation maybe?
Of course. Absolutely. We'll ask him. I'm going to ask him to respond. Well, I don't ask the questions. I suggest the questions. I want to get his response on what JD mentioned that I brought up earlier in the podcast. Let's get an answer. Let's get an answer on that one. All right. So it is Cubs Reds, Crowley. And for the first time since 2020, our Cubs are playing postseason baseball. Let's not get in. We know what's going on with the Cubs and the Reds. How about the tail of the tape? Can we just fast forward to the tail of the tape, Crowley?
We can fast forward to the tail of the tape. If you take a look here, this is for the last 3 weeks, August 27th, April 17th. When we take a look at these teams, batting average, Cubs 13th. They've made a big jump at 256. The Reds are 20th at 240. Slug, the Cubs are out slugging the Reds. They're 9th at 438, while the Reds are 19th at 406. Runners in scoring position, though, the Reds are 22nd, 248. The Cubs stranded a lot of runners this weekend, or this last week, and they're 25th at 244. Starting pitching ERA, nod goes to the Cubs, 423. That's 15th in baseball, while the Reds are 483, 19th. But the reliever this is where we get to it. And this is when you see the pitching matchups. You want to get into that Reds bullpen as early as possible. And hopefully the Cubs can do similar to what they've done lately is work these starters. The Cubs bullpen, third in baseball, 113 whip in this time period. And the Reds is 23rd at 147. Also a huge difference in defense. The Cubs defense is second in baseball. This is over the whole entire season, 79 defensive runs saved, while the Reds are 22nd at -3rd. So they play negative defense.
Yeah. Cubs defense, another reason why they're playing in the postseason. All right. So Colin Ray is his turn, and he's going against Hunter Green. This is a Fox game on Thursday night. Kind of interesting this time of the year. Fox National, so not like FS1 or FS2, your old WFLD, if you're of an age. Fox has the game, and they're going to go head-to-head with Thursday Night Football. So this is interesting on a national level, and so the Score will be your local outlet. Fox will be your TV outlet.
Well, I will be watching, Dustin, as Colin Ray's 10-6 with a 4.23 ERA in 30 games, 25 of those starts with 109 strikeouts and 146 and 2/3 innings pitched. On September 1st, he gave up 3 runs in 4 innings against the Braves. On September 7th against the Nationals, he gave up 1 run in 5 1/3 inning. And in his last start on September 13th against the Rays, he gave up 3 runs in 5 1/3 innings. Rays faced the Reds twice this season, and both times, Dustin, have been disasters. On May 24th against the Reds in Cincy, he gave up 6 runs in 5 innings of work. The next week at Wrigley wasn't any better. He gave up 6 runs in 5 2/3 innings of work. In another example, though, of how pitchers' wins can sometimes be a misleading stat, Ray's 5-2 against the Reds in his career in 10 games, 9 of those starts, but he has a whopping 6.32 ERA against them. He is 3-1 at the Great American Ballpark with a 6.86 ERA. The Reds slash 333, 376, 615 against Ray. Ellie De La Cruz is 7 for 16 off Ray with a double, triple, 2 home runs, and 7 RBIs. Will Benson, 7 for 15, and Spencer Steer, 6 for 16. TJ Friedel Stuggers against Colin. He's 3 for 17. And Cabrian Hayes, now with the Reds, 1 for 8.
Well, it'll be interesting to find out how many shots or cheese sticks are happening out at that Waterloo, Iowa bar. And Hunter Green against the Cubs in his season so far.
Yeah, 6-4 with a 3.01 ERA in 17 games started, and 100 with a 1.16 ERA. 3 ERA in 92 and 116 strikeouts in 92 and a third innings pitch. Green was pitching well in April and May, but in the beginning of the June, he went on the IL with a groin injury, which knocked him out until August. Since coming back on the IL, he's been pretty good. On September the 1st against the Blue Jays, gave up 1 run in 6 1/3 innings. His next start against the Mets was one of his best. He gave up 1 run in 7 innings of work. But in his last start against the A's, he struggled. He gave up 4 runs, 2 homers in 2 1/3 innings of work. The Cubs faced Green once this season in May. He got a no decision, but gave up 2 runs in 4 innings of work. Green is 4-1 in 8 starts against the Cubs in his career with a 4.10 ERA. The Cubs don't have good numbers against Green. Nico is 4 for 17, but Dansby 0 for 11. Ian Happ 2 for 15. One guy that does see him well is Seiya Suzuki, 7 for 15, just got back. So hopefully that gets him going. Hunter generates a lot of strikeouts and whiffs with a 4-seamer at 99, a slider at 89, and a splitter.
All right, very good. So then that's the Thursday game. Friday, what's happening?
You got Shodi Managa versus Nick Lodolo at 540. Shodi Managa 9-7 with a 3.29 ERA and 23 starts with 110 strikeouts and 134 innings pitched. For Shota, he's struggled with the home run ball. He's given up at least 1 home run in his last 7 starts. In his last 3 starts, he's given up a lot of first inning runs, right? On September 2nd against the Braves, he gave up 3 runs in 6 innings, 2 in the first. On September 8th in Atlanta, he gave up 3 runs in 5 innings, 1 home run in the first, and a double that just hit off that top of the wall in Atlanta. And then in his last start against the Rays, he gave up 3 runs in 5 innings, back-to-back home runs in the first to start the game. Dustin, his ERA in the first inning this season, 6.65.
Wow, so you can get to him, huh? Early on. That's
Early
not
on,
good, right? And then he's kind of settled. Then he kind of settles down. So, I'd like to see him maybe throw 50 pitches. Right, 3 innings, 50 pitches. Maybe get through the order, once, and have a seat. Right, and I just think don't get rusty, but and I know that doesn't fit in with getting home field, but it's tough.
I'm more concerned with Matt Boyd at this point in time. I'd rather, if you're talking about pitch count and resting people,
having somebody slow or right, or maybe even skipping it, right? Maybe even skipping the start.
Right, 100%. And so. Ironically, Shota faced the Reds once this season in the beginning of August, and that was the last time he didn't give up a home run. That was on August 1st. So he gave up 1 run in 6 1/3 innings at Wrigley. Shota's 1-0 against the Reds in his career with a 2.08 ERA and 2 starts. The Reds struggle against Imanaga with Ellie De La Cruz going 0 for 6, TJ Friedel 1 for 6, and Austin Hayes 1 for 5. The Reds are going to counter with Nick Lodolo. He's a 27-year-old lefty who's 8-8 with a 3.30 ERA and 26 starts with 137 strikeouts in 144 and 2/3 innings pitched. Lodolo struggled with injuries this season. He's missed times for a left calf issue, a left finger blister twice, and a left middle finger sprain. He returned from the IL on August 27th versus the Dodgers, gave up 4 runs in 4 2/3 innings. He pitched better in his last start against the A's. He gave up he pitched better on September 8th against the Padres, pitching 5 scoreless innings, but in his last start against the A's, he gave up 5 runs in 5 1/3 innings. Lodolo faced the Cubs 3 times this season. On May 25th in Cincy, he gave up 3 runs in 5 innings. The next week at Wrigley, he pitched 6 scoreless innings, and his start in August, he left the game in the second with a blister issue that landed him on the IL.
The blister on the finger. Okay.
Yeah. Lodolo's 2-2 in his career against the Cubs with a 4.28 ERA and 8 starts. A couple of Cubs that hit Lodolo well. Ian Happ 7 for 20, Nico 6 for 16, and Dansby 5 for 4, and Seiya 5 for 14. But Dansby not so much. He's 2 for 14 against Lodolo, who features a 4-seamer, curve, changeup, and sinker.
All right, so that's the Friday night contest, right? That's what we just went over there. Shota Imanaga, Nick Lodolo. Now we move into Saturday, and we get Jameson Taillon, who, again, had that nice quality start. I would even go like quality plus, quality platinum start. No home runs in that one. No. Against Zach Little.
Yeah, and when you talk about J-Mo, he's just doing well. He pitched once against the Reds at Wrigley. He gave up 2 runs in 6 1/3 innings of work. He's 7-6 against the Reds in his career with a 4.67 ERA and 19 starts, but is 2-5 with a 6.65 ERA and 9 starts at the Great American Ballpark. So I'm a little worried about that. J-Mo needs to look out for Tommy Pham, who is 9 for 29 against him. Jared Triolo 4 for 11, but O'Neal Cruz is 0 for 13. But Dustin, he's just to me, it's going to be interesting to see how he does at Great American Ballpark. And for the Reds, Zach Little is a 29-year-old righty who's 9-8 with a 3.86 ERA and 30 starts with 123 strikeouts and 177 innings pitched. On September 3rd, Little gave up 5 runs in 4 innings against the Blue Jays, bounced back on September 9th against the Padres, giving up 2 runs in 6 innings of work. And in his last start on September 15th, he gave up 4 runs in 5 1/3 innings against the Cardinals. Cubs saw Littell one time this season in August. He got the win, pitched 7 innings, gave up 1 run. Littell is 2-0 lifetime against the Cubs with a .71 ERA in 7 games, but only one of those were a start. Most of the Cubs don't have a lot of bats against him other than the veterans like Turner and Santana. Of the everyday players, Dansby's 2 for 8 against Littell, who features a slider, split finger, 4-seam, and sinker.
All right, very good. So now this fourth game that you love, right? That's going to be a Sunday day game, afternoon, and Cade Horton taking the ball, and against Andrew Abbott, another lefty. So Cubs, facing two lefties in this four-game series, two righties, two lefties.
Yeah.
Okay. So 2 days off for Michael Busch. Okay, got it.
Well, it's every other day, right? So Cade Horton is the Cubs' 24-year-old rookie, 11-4, 2.66 ERA in 22 games. 21 of them starts with 95 strikeouts and 115 innings pitched. We talked in segment 1 about Cade's red-hot second half. On September 3rd against the Braves, 5 scoreless innings. On September 9th against Atlanta, he gave up 1 run in 6 1/3 innings. And in his last start in Pittsburgh, he outdueled Paul Skeens, giving up 1 run in 5 innings of work. Cade has faced the Reds once in August at Wrigley, pitching 5 2/3 shutout innings and picked up the win. The only person with more than 3 at-bats against Cade is Ke'Bryan Hayes, who's 0 for 4.
Gotcha. And for Andrew Abbott against our Cubbies?
Yeah, he's the 26-year-old lefty named to the All-Star game for the Reds. He's 9-7 with a 2.88 ERA in 27 starts and with 143 strikeouts in 156 1/3 innings. But Dustin, like we talked about earlier with PCA's first half numbers versus second half numbers, same thing with Andrew Abbott, right? Pre-All-Star game versus post-All-Star game, totally different story. Before the All-Star game, he was 8-1 with a 2.07 ERA in 16 starts. In the second half, Dustin, he's 1-6 with a 4.02 ERA in 11 starts.
Right.
On September 5th, he gave up 5 runs in 4 2/3 innings pitched. He bounced back in his next start, giving up only 1 run in 8 innings against the Padres. In his last start, he gave up 3 runs in 4 2/3 innings against the Cardinals. He's faced the Cubs 3 times this season, and it reflects his splits, right? In the 2 games he faced the Cubs in May, he was 2-0 and gave up 1 run in 12 2/3 innings. When he saw the Cubs at Wrigley in August, he took the loss, giving up 4 runs in 6 2/3 innings and 2 home runs. Abbott's 3-1 with the 2.91 ERA in 6 starts against the Cubs. The Cubs do not hit Abbott well at all. Dansby and Nico have had the most success. They're both 4 for 12, Sayas 3 for 11, but Ian Happ and PCA is 1 for 13. So maybe give the lefties that day off, right? Abbott features a 4-seamer, changeup, curve, and a sweeper.
All right, hot and not time, and I know Nico Horner and Mo Ball are going to be on this list.
He is really heating up.
Yeah, when we take a look at the hot right now, Moises, Nico Horner, 10 for 20 with a double, a triple, 3 RBIs, slashing 500, 545, 700. Mo Baller, 7 for 18 with a triple and a home run. He's 389, 476, 667. Dansby's on a heater. How about 7 for his last 18? He's 389. Ian Happ, 6 for his last 17. Michael Busch, how about him? 8 for his last 23 with doubles and 3 home runs. A lot of hot Cubs and not.
And PCA's getting there, right? PCA's getting there.
Seeing better at Shaw's last 7. PCA for his last PCA and 3 are. So kind of start early emerging good signs again in Pittsburgh.
All right, what do we have to worry about as Cub fans when the Reds are at the plate? Is it the usual? Is it Elly De La Cruz?
No, actually quite the opposite, Dustino.
Okay.
It is not Elly De La Cruz. If you take a look at Elly De La Cruz, he's been moved down way in the lineup.
Huh.
Check out this one right here. This
Attitude
is,
again. I know Coomer's called him out before about not using his skills to the best of his ability.
I just know he hasn't hit a homer since July 3rd. He has not hit a homer since July 31st and has only 1 homer in 71 games in 313 appearances since June 24th. Since August, he's hitting 208. So he's a guy that, usually you're like, yeah, that's the guy you got to look out for, Elly De La Cruz. Not at all this time, not as much this time. Sal Stewart is 7 for 16 with 2 home runs and 3 RBIs. He's their third baseman, slashing 438, 471, 813. Will Benson, 4 for his last 11, slashing 364, 385 with 2 home runs and 5 RBIs. Hopefully Elly is not breaking out of it. He's slashing 188, 350, 250. Gavin Lux struggling at 182. Matt McClain's had an awful season. He's been hitting 133 and TJ Friedel 111. That's why you see a lot of times you're seeing with the Reds inconsistent starts and bad offense. And that's why they've been struggling to get anywhere in the wild card.
All right. Prediction time. I'll keep it consistent, Crowley. I'm going to say a split. Okay. I'm going to say a split. If it was 2 out of 3, I'd say maybe the Cubs win this one. I'm going to say a split, kind of ends the Reds as a threat and keeps the Cubs kind of right where they're at.
I'm going to be boring as usual because I always feel that you got to split when that happens. So I would say split as well, but you never know. Hopefully the Cubs can surprise us like they did against Paul Skeens, like they did against Clint Sale. Maybe they're just getting hot at the right time.
Well, Crowley, back in the postseason for the first time since 2020. That is a wrap. You're listening to the Fly the W podcast. We are part of that Blue Wire network. Don't forget to download, listen, review, and most importantly, subscribe to the podcast. 5-star reviews, we will take them. Email us, Crowley's Clubhouse, gmail.com. Thanks for those that are watching, and you can also watch us in the future on Crowley's Clubhouse YouTube page. Crowley, we're going to have to do a couple more of these on the fly once we get into the postseason, my friend.
October is a whole different ball game. Keep the eye on the prize. Beat the Reds. Go Cubs!
It's all over.